You'd think saving your first $1,000 would be the easy part. It's the smallest number, the first step. It should feel simple compared to what comes later. It's not. For most people, that first $1,000 is the hardest money they'll ever save. Harder than the second thousand. Harder, honestly, than saving the next $9,000 after it. And once you understand why, it completely changes how you think about the early stage of building any kind of savings. Here's what's actually going on. My name is Jordan. If you've ever felt like you're bad at saving because the beginning felt impossible, stick around, because it's probably not about you at all. Subscribe if you want more of these breakdowns. Let's talk about why the first $1,000 is brutal. When you have zero savings, every single unexpected expense becomes a crisis. Your car needs a repair. That's not an inconvenience. That's a full financial emergency because there's nothing to absorb it. A medical bill shows up. Same thing. A friend's wedding, a broken phone, a rent increase. With zero cushion, every single one of these events forces you to either go into debt or scramble. And here's the part that makes it so much harder than people realize. You're not just trying to save money during this stage. You're trying to save money while every unexpected expense is actively working against you. It's like trying to fill a bucket that has a hole in the bottom. Every time you make progress, something drains it right back out. This is why so many people start and stop saving over and over again. It's not lack of discipline. It's that the first $1,000 has to survive constant sabotage from real life happening around it. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Once you cross that first $1,000 mark, something fundamentally changes. Not just in your bank account, in your actual financial mechanics. Because that $1,000 becomes a buffer. Suddenly, a car repair doesn't derail your entire month. It just gets paid from the buffer, and you rebuild it over the following weeks. The emergency stops being an emergency. It becomes a manageable expense. This is the part almost nobody explains clearly. The first $1,000 isn't really savings in the traditional sense. It's insurance. It's the thing standing between you and starting over from zero every single time life throws something unexpected at you. And once that insurance exists, saving money becomes an entirely different experience. You're no longer saving against constant sabotage. You're saving with a buffer already protecting your progress. Let's put real numbers on this to see exactly why the difference is so dramatic. Say you're trying to save $200 a month with zero savings. Historically, unexpected expenses hit low-income and middle-income households several times a year, often multiple hundreds of dollars each time. If even one $400 unexpected expense hits during that stretch, you don't just lose progress. You go negative. You have to start completely over. Now, imagine that same $200 a month, except you already have a $1,000 buffer in place. That same $400 expense gets paid instantly from the buffer. Your monthly saving continues completely uninterrupted. No restart, no emotional defeat, no feeling like you failed again. That's the entire difference between the first $1,000 and every dollar that comes after it. The first $1,000 has to be built without protection. Every dollar after it gets built with protection already in place. This is also why the jump from $1,000 to $10,000 often feels dramatically faster, even though it's 9 times more money. Because by that stage, you're not fighting constant emergencies anymore. You're simply adding to a system that's already stable. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Jordan, but what do I actually do with this information? Here's the practical shift. Stop treating your first $1,000 like a normal savings goal. Treat it like an emergency construction project. The goal isn't to save aggressively and perfectly. The goal is simply to get that buffer built as fast as realistically possible, even if it means temporarily cutting things you'd normally allow yourself. Once that buffer exists, you can go back to a more sustainable, comfortable saving pace. But during the buffer building phase, speed matters more than comfort, because every week without it is another week of exposure to a full restart. And here's something that might make this feel less discouraging. If you've tried to save before and failed, it probably wasn't a personal failure. It's extremely likely you were trying to save without any buffer in place, which means you were saving against constant sabotage the entire time. That's not a willpower problem. That's a structural one.
Once you understand that the first $1,000 is doing a completely different job than every dollar after it, it becomes much easier to give yourself permission to prioritize speed over perfection in the beginning. Because the goal isn't to save $1,000 elegantly. The goal is to get it built, stop the bleeding, and only then shift into normal saving mode. After that, the math starts working in your favor instead of against you. If this reframed how you think about saving, hit subscribe. And I want to know, did your first $1,000 feel like the hardest money you ever saved? Or did it come easier than you expected? Drop it in the comments. Because sometimes just knowing the first stretch is supposed to be harder is enough to stop giving up halfway through.